I just spoke with an author who wrote a novel based on managing a rock and roll band in New York City in 1971 and having to deal with the mafia. And that was all based on fact, things that he witnessed because he was a manager in New York. And you could speak to this too, because you were managing the Yardbirds when you went to the US to set up a tour and you found out that there were some challenges along the way. You had to be aware of the mafia. Can you talk about that time, the time you came to the US for that tour?
Well, you had to be aware. I would say that there's a big advantage being British because they didn't really know how to get to the British, and they weren't. There wasn't a British mafia of the same type. There was British gangsters, but that was different. And so my method always of dealing with things is to be politely innocent. You wouldn't run away from them because then they chase you like a dog. You stand and look it in the eye. And you must not quite let them know that you understand. So they think oh, bloody these English guys are so stupid, they don't understand it. I'm telling this guy I'll kill him if he doesn't do this. He doesn't even understand, so they don't bother to kill you. Yeah, there was a lot of that, and I came over. I was just after the Yardbirds. I got into record production with a partner in England called Ray Singer. We were both pretty successful record producers. So I stopped managing, became a record producer. We came over to America to look for companies who wanted to commission us to make records. We went to RCA and ABC. We got lots of commissions. And somebody said, you've got to go to see Roulette. They want some records, and they got plenty of money. And this nice guy called Maurice Levy, who runs Roulette, you'll like him. He's got a good sense of humor. And the guy who told us to do this had a good sense of humor because, Maurice Levy was the one outstanding mafia run and control company in America. But we didn't know that. So we went off to see Maurice. And he decided he liked us. These two English guys, nice, personal English guys. And so he called us back afterwards and said, I'm sending over one of my guys. He's going to have dinner with you tonight. And he wanted us to run Roulette in UK. He wanted us to, he'd had a guy before and he'd left, and he wanted us to take over and run the company in UK. But by then we knew, we'd learned that day when we went to see Maurice Levy that it was a mafia company. When we went to Roulette that day, we went to the counter downstairs, and there was a nice guy in a suit who said, oh yeah, you come to see Mr. Levy. Let me show you to the waiting room. We went up to the waiting room and he showed us in. We sat down, and after a minute, Ray said, oh, I want to go and have a pee. I'll just go to the toilet. He went, and the door didn't have a handle on the inside. So this is strange. You don't often find yourself in a room without a handle on the door. And there was no bell, no way of contacting. So we had to sit in the room until the guy came back. So then he came back eventually. He said, Mr. Levy, I'll see you now. And he showed us into Maurice Levy's office. Maurice Levy's office was quite long and narrow. And at one end was this desk on a dais. So it was raised about 2 feet above the floor level of the rest of the office. And Maurice sat behind that desk. But that's not where he was. He was down in front of the desk, holding in his hands, round the neck, a little black guy, a little fragile-looking black guy. And by the way, halfway up this long, narrow office was a white line across the carpet. And when we were shown in, the nice guy, young guy in the suit who'd shown us the waiting room first, said, you don't cross that line without Mr. Levy's permission. So anyway, we came in the office, we're told this, and there standing in the middle of the office is Maurice with his hands, this guy being held by the collar off the ground. And Ray, I didn't know this, and Ray whispered to me, fuck me, he said, that's Mickey Stevenson, the best black producer in America. He's Motown's #1 songwriter producer. And Levy was shaking him. You fucking little cocksucker, you promised me a fucking hit, and you gave me a fucking flop. And he threw him on the floor.
Oh,
and this poor Mickey Stevenson crawled to the door and ran away.
Oh my God, it's like a scene out of The Goodfellas.
It was. It was just that. So then Maurice Levy goes back to his desk and sits down and says, hey guys, okay, so what are you here for? And we said, well, we thought we might like to produce some records for you. He said, yeah, that's what we want hits. You're going to give us a hit? Not like that fucking cocksucker guy.
Wow.
Yeah. Right, yeah, we'll give you a hit. How much do you want? And so we just wanted to get out of there. We realized once this was what it was.
Wow.
And so then that evening, he sent this guy around to have dinner with us at the Algonquin where we were staying. And the guy said, Mr. Levy's decided you're the guys to run the company in England. So you're going to be running our company in England. He didn't say, would you like to? You're going to be running our company in England.
Wow. Yeah.
And and then Ray and I knew we had to get out of this. And so Ray had been an actor. He'd been a comedian, actually, on a show in England. Quite a good actor, quite a comedian. So he decided to act the fool, but very subtly, because it couldn't be acting the fool like a over the top thing. It had to be very subtle. So I got the hang of it, and we both just acted stupid. And the guy said, "So, we're going to say you go and find an office in England, And I said, where would we find an office?" They said, "Well, you just go and find and rent an office." "Oh, right. What rent? What's that? What's rent? Do we have to buy a property or something?" "No, you go and rent an office." "Oh, well, I've never done that before. I mean, how does that work?" You had to talk like that until the guy got more and more exasperated and thought we were complete idiots. And presumably he went back and told Morris we were idiots and we weren't the people he should run the company.
Oh, smart move. So you got, yeah.
2 months later, the guy who Morris Levy put in to run the company was found dead in the River Thames with a concrete block tied around his feet.
Holy shit.
So we were quite pleased with ourselves.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I guess it's fortunate that you're here talking to me today, considering what could have happened.